Hey everyone, welcome back to part 3 of the book tutorial. And here's where we left off. We had the texture we had made with the back and the front, the little side areas, those little corner tabs, the pages on the bottom here, and this is going to be that corner page that kind of sticks out a little bit. And I didn't really finish the texture, I just kind of wanted to get the points across so you guys and gals can take the fronts and backs and just design those how you want. And I'm going to jump over into Maya. And we're going to look at this, and I can get rid of these duplicates I made. Those are just for reference. I didn't need those anymore, and just keep my original one here. Okay, so now we're going to UV this really quick in Maya. And to start that, I'm actually going to break apart the image by hitting the separate button. And I'm going to jump over into the UVs here. And this might be a little bit awkward since I usually have this on a separate screen, but it should be okay. We'll put it over there. I think you might actually be able to tag your view. Let's check this out. Camera. Maybe if I grab a new view, close that, and then I believe you can pull up UVs in the side here. This might be a useless endeavor, but I'm pretty sure you can do it. I just don't remember how. Layouts, panel. Oh, here we go. Panel and UV editor. Okay, we got the UV editor. Let's slide that one down out of view. Okay, so we've got our book here, UV's over here. And they really don't look like much right now, so let's get them all fixed up. I'm gonna start with a planar projection. And if you hit this, it'll automatically do one. We want the options though. So we're gonna go into, where is it? UV. And see where it says planar projection? Well, it just says planar. It might say planar projection. And these could be different depending on what version Maya you're using. So let's click the little tab. And now we want to do a projection from Y. How can I tell? Because there's this little Y indicator down here. So if I hit Y and hit apply, it did a flat projection of the entire book. The one problem I see with this though is it's a square and my book's a rectangle. So that's not very good. So let's go over here and click Keep Image Width and Height Ratio. Hit Apply. There we go. Now the book's the correct dimensions. Okay, so we've got that done. Now let's break it up and actually unfold it and stuff. That's a little trickier, so I'll try to explain this the best I can. Okay, let's grab this, and I want to have the back be a separate object. So the way I usually do this is I'll grab this piece, kind of this inside part, and grab all these and go back into my projection and do another new projection from the same angle. And basically what that did, it created another, what we call islands in UVs. And so I'm gonna go over here, object, go over to our UV mode and go to shell, which is selecting the entire island. I'm going to slide that one over, and that's the inside. You can see it selected all the faces. And here's the outside. And these, we're going to slide this over here. This is basically where our texture is going to exist, but this repeats on forever and ever. I could line them up here and be fine, but it's always going to use up this space. So let's go ahead and grab the inside, since that's going to be the easiest one to explain. See how it's those pieces like that, but they're all wrapped up and stacked on top of each other? I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to UV, right click. When you go to UV mode, the arrows will be green. Make sure you're not in vert mode, they'll be purple. If you're in vert mode and you move them, it's not gonna do what we want it to do. So let's go to UV again and select all the different vert points, but we're in UV mode. And now we're gonna shift right click and go to smooth UV tool. And once you do that, this little unfold button will pop up. It'll hit unfold, and then just keep sliding that. And there, now you have the inside of your book. Now that that's done, we're gonna place it up here. And now that we have that done too, let's bring in our texture that we did. So I'm gonna select all of these objects, right click, and do a new material. And I'm just gonna do a basic material, a Lambert. You'll see that in your list. It's super basic, click that. And then the material attributes will pop up. Expand this a little bit. We're going to go into color, go to color, and you'll have a new file pop up, a new menu pop up, and you want to go to file because we're looking for a file to add to this. And then it brings up another menu, and you see where it says image name. We're going to click the little folder, go to the desktop, and grab our book. Let's see if the PSD worked. We'll do that first. If that doesn't work, we'll use the other one. If you don't see anything displaying, you might not have your texture mode turned on. So let's go up here and see where it says a little texture icon there, and click that. If nothing's still displaying, maybe the PSD didn't work. So we'll go back, select PSD, hit open, and close that. And then let's see if we can, oh, that was the wrong button. This is the button we wanted to hit. If you hover over it, it says textured. That's use default material. And since this isn't the default material, we'll use that. So now when I click on this, you'll see I have, oops, I was trying to jump around and place it somewhere. I'm going to slide that off the screen for now. You can see we have the book and all the pieces. Let's go and grab this shell here and see it's the inside, and see it's texturing. It's just everything. No matter how far I go this way or that, it's always going to be the information right here. We're going to grab in the UV mode particularly, grab these faces, or in shell mode like that. And you're right clicking to select these different modes. We're going to grab that, hit R to scale down. And remember I talked about having this on a smaller UV area. We're just going to put the inside of the book right in here. Just because you're not going to see as much of that area. And I could UV this differently and we could have them have equal space and stuff. But right now we're not going to do that. And then I'm going to go and grab this piece and go to object mode. And there, remember we put it over on the side. If I were to slide this over, there it is. But we're going to keep it open like this for now. And remember how I unfolded this piece and it worked out great? Let's try that on this one. So first, right click, go to UVs, select these UVs, right click and shift, smooth UV tool. And actually, oh, it's worked surprisingly well. I thought it wouldn't work out as well. So we have that now. Let's scale it down a little bit. And here we go. I'm gonna make that just a bit bigger since this is kind of our primary working space. And then I can start, maybe I'll go and smooth, oops, go back to undo whatever I just did, grab these UVs again, smooth UV tool. Maybe I'll relax it a bit and see what that does, and then keep unfolding it. So it's actually working out pretty good, but we're gonna have a few points where it's gonna be a bit odd. So it's gonna cause some stretching. So what we're gonna do, if I look at it in these corners, it's not unfolded like a box right now, although it's working fine since those corners are covered. But what I would probably do, I would go to these edges here and select these little edges right in here. And you can select those in 3D or 2D. If you wanted to do it in the 3D mode, let's go here. Since we can't see them, we can always isolate that image and expand this over a little bit and hit this button. And we're isolating just this 3D model. Right click, go to edge, and I'm gonna select these edges in the corners. And then once I have those selected, we're gonna cut them. And I believe it's, yeah, right, this tool right here, cut UV edge. And now you don't see anything happen, but if I go back into my right click, oh, hang on, actually go back to the object, right click object mode, then go back in here. That's still not working. Oh, I hit Q to get my selection tool back up and go to UV mode. UVs are still selected. Shift, right click, go to smooth UV tool. Now when I do it, these should break apart if they were cut properly. For some reason they're not. Let's try it here. Cut UVs. UV mode, select those. There we go, now they're working. So let's go back a little bit. Maybe we just didn't use the right buttons. Go redo. So those corners are selected again. And make sure I'm in edge mode. I don't want that one selected, so I'm gonna unselect that one. I did control drag across that to unselect it. And then I'm shift right clicking, cut UVs. Now I'll go back to UV mode. Shift right click, smooth tool. There we go. See, now they're nice and square looking. They're popping out nicely. The other points that we might need to do this is here, because you can see these are kind of angling. but on the book they don't. So let's grab these edges. I think that's the right edge. I hit F to zoom into it. Yeah. Well, those, let's give them a little, let's cut them anyways just to give them a little bit of breathing room. Grab them here. Grab those 4 points. Shift right click. Cut edges. Go back to UV mode. Select them all. There we go. Now it's, see how much more flat and kind of clean it looks? And remember we did the proportion thing too early on? Now those are actually lining up almost perfectly. Got a few adjustments we'll have to make. So let's see. To make a few adjustments, we'll make sure we're in UV mode. I'm going to drag and grab all of these UVs on this side. Control and select and deselect those. And just slide this over till it's lined up. And you can see that's actually working pretty good. I'm going to grab these in the center. Shift, right click, smooth UV tool. And there we go. And you could, if you wanted, you could, you know, move these around a little bit if you want to keep them flat. If you're painting in Photoshop, that's going to be a little bit easier. Okay, let's take a look at our book. We got front and back. The inside's UV'd. Let's zoom out. Slide this over again so we can see that, because remember we isolated it. Let's unisolate that, and let's UV these next. Actually, there's a trick I can show you too where we're just going to UV one of them, and I could have done this in the modeling process. It would have made a lot more sense if I UV'd one and then duplicated them, and that's what we're going to do. So let's go back to our projection of UV. We're going to do a planar projection again. Just to make a shortcut, let's hit Control Shift and click on the square. And then the projection mode popped up right there. And we want to do the same thing again. We want to do a Y from top down. And then it projects it at that full size. That's fine for now. And let's see. And we want to do the bottom too. So I'm actually going to grab those bottom pieces, hit that again, hit apply. So now we have bottom and top, they're separate pieces. Slide that out. And since we know kind of how it happened last time when we had those not cut, let's just go ahead and cut them ahead of time. These edges here, just like you're unfolding a box. Let's see which ones I cut there. I'm gonna cut this one. Let's cut them all for now. And shift right click, cut UVs. Grab this, go to UV mode. And if you're in UV mode and do smooth tool and you accidentally select too many, it will just keep that one island selected. So let's unfold that. So there, notice it's getting a little bit of an odd shape. It's because this one's not cut. Let's cut that one. For some reason it's not selecting in there. Let's go ahead and right there, select it. Shift right click, cut UV. Go back to UV mode, select them. And then smooth. See, we're gonna have an issue there. There's a few ways we can work that out. Let's work that out a little bit later though. I go to the edge and see how when I select an edge, even though these are separate units or islands, these edges are the ones that would connect. We actually want to make this one piece like we did for the see how we have that together like that? But actually it looks like we want to connect them at this point. So let's find that point on here. It's probably right over on this side perhaps. Yeah, there it is. So I'm gonna grab that edge. Oops, not that one, but this one. And then shift right click and move and sew. And I'll snap it right over there. It looks a little weird though. So let's right click, go to UVs, grab it all, and just unfold and keep unfolding. And you can see it's starting to kind of get its correct shape. Kind of, a little bit wonky though. Let's rotate it. Smooth tool again, let's relax a little maybe. And unfold. And it's kind of giving me issues. Let's actually just keep them separate then. I'm gonna cut it at this point this time though. Cut UVs. There, smooth. And I'm gonna put this piece On this side, I'm gonna have it on that one, and this side I'm gonna put it on that one. So I'm actually gonna cut this piece out. So if we find that piece, go to face. So it's this one right here. And I just want to cut the whole face off. So I'm just going to do face off. I'm just going to do, let's see. I thought I could cut faces. I guess not. We'll just select the edges that it's connected to. And I think it's just that edge right there. Shift right click, cut UV. And you should be able to grab just this piece. There we go, see? And let's grab this edge over here. Shift right click, move and stow. And now I can smooth out this one. Oh, grab the wrong ones. Let's go to island, hit Q, and then the move tool with W. Get these off each other. There we go, let's grab this, smooth UV tool. That's already smoothed out. Let's twist it and line it up. Grab this one. It's a little bit funky. Oh, because I missed that top piece. Shift right click, smooth UV tool. There we go. Now it's starting to line up. So now that we have those two lined up, let's grab both of them and then scale them both down. Zoom into our texture. And I think this will be the, keeping the same size. Yeah, that's the top one. So let's grab this, and you can rotate them in here, or if you want to do a perfect rotation, just grab it right here. There you go. And then this one, do a rotation. Maybe we'll actually rotate it and then flip it right there. So it fits that a little bit better. And go over to this one, look at the sizing. Remember, we want to line it up to that center area. So it's a little bit too big, I think. Yeah, because there's a corner. Oh no, it's actually almost perfect. Maybe a tiny bit smaller. You might hear my cat. That's Kimchi. He's helping me do this tutorial. He's super helpful with UVs. He likes to meow at me while I do them. And that's how he helps. That's about all he does. He's really cool though. He's super fluffy. So let's line those up a bit and then look at them over here. And there we go. That's pretty close to what we wanted. You can see it's a little bit off there, so you can go over here, go to shell, and just move stuff around. Actually, the sizing is not quite right. I think they are too big. It's probably because I probably messed something up when I was referencing them. So this is something where you might, scale it differently. Maybe I'll scale it up, and maybe you'll texture it slightly differently than you had painted. So some of that stuff's going to change as you go. Say it was correct, or say that's all we wanted right there. We could just turn that off. And only one of them's UV'd though, so that kind of sucks. But let's just delete these other ones. It's a little bit of a, something we already did, but let's duplicate that. And now I'm gonna mirror it and then make sure it's at -1 over here. And that's done. And then let's duplicate these two and do the same thing, except this one's on the Y, -1. And we gotta slide it up a bit just because the center point, the pivot point was a little different. Okay, that's done. Let's UV the paper really quick. So this one, when you're UVing stuff, you always want to start with the biggest, bulkiest area. I should have said that earlier, but let's use this as a good example. So the paper, these sides are a little bit shorter, this is a little bit longer. So let's UV it from this side. So let's do another planar projection. And what side is that? It looks like it's the X. So let's grab X, hit apply, and you can see it's X because there's that flat image there. I still have keep image aspect ratio, so that looks quite nice. Let's scale it down. And scale it up just a little bit so it lines up. But where are our sides? Since there is a back piece here, we need to make a cut. And also, we can get rid of a little bit of information on this. Unless you want this book to open, you could get rid of the inside pieces. And let's go ahead and do that. So let's isolate this piece. right click, and I'm just going to get rid of the top and bottom and just delete those entirely. You're never going to see them. You maybe could see these sides. So let me, yeah, you can kind of see them in there. So we'll leave those for now. But if I tried to smooth this out at its current state, I can't really do anything because it's a complete circle. It's connected all the way around. So let's go into the most hidden spot we can and cut this edge. Shift right click, cut UVs. Now, if we do this, actually, if we do this now, it kind of works, but it's gonna be too long. So let's go ahead and go over here too and cut this side as well. And shift right click, cut UVs. Because what's going on is there's this back area. Let's see how it's separate now. I'm going to move that out of the way. Now when we select this, shift and unfold, it should unfold left and right. There we go, perfect. And I'm just going to scale it just a tiny bit just to get those corners lined up. Remember we had that highlight right there? See, but the problem we're having is it's duplicating like that. You could have this texture continue out on left and right and be a line texture so that this edge meets that edge. But in this case, we're just gonna stretch a little bit. It should be fine. In this case, since it's a very horizontal line, it'll be fine. Let's grab those interior back pieces. And since those wouldn't necessarily be pages, let's actually just tuck that right down in here. So it's just kind of this darker, this just kind of cream color. There we go. Okay, now we've got this page. Let's open up our projection, and we're going to do a projection from the Y. If you look down here on the green, and a Y. And I'm going to make this a lot smaller. And I'm just going to go right there. And there's the corner. And ideally, you'd want to project out all these other sides and everything too, but just for the sake of time, we're just going to fit this all onto this page and go like that. And there you go. There's a finished UV'd book, and you could take the texture as far as you want. I'm going to turn these lines off really quick. And you could paint more lighting. You could do whatever you want, really. Got a nice little page sticking out, some details, and you could put like your spine. You could go over into Photoshop really quick and grab the spine, and maybe let's do that really quick just to show you how we can update the texture nicely. I'm gonna go in here and go on top of my base, tag a layer, and I'm gonna add some details to the spine. I know what I'll do. On the front, I'm going to turn off my front reference. I'm actually going to grab this icon. It's this logo I have. A little bit of self-promotion here. Stick the logo on the front. And maybe, let's see. Yeah, I got a great idea for the side. Hang on, where is it? I'll pull up my picture here. It's a perfect side button. I think it's gonna go great. It's gonna be so good. This is such shameless self-promotion. It's hilarious. Hopefully everyone finds humor in this and not just me. I'm gonna select that here. And I grab this color, fill that. And then we're gonna make a back as well. And it's just gonna say thanks. Okay. And remember, this is a PSD, so it might not cross over, but I'm gonna hit save. And I'm actually gonna go back in here. It didn't update because remember we used the different texture. So let's go back into our texture and slide all the way over here until we find, it's going to take forever. Let's go back here and pull up our texture editor. I believe it's one of these side ones. I always forget which one. Panel layout. I think it's this one for materials. There we go. So there's our Lambert 2. And I'm going to double click that. Go into color. And I could select that. I know it's a PSD and I know it's in the same location. So let's hit PSD. And there we go. There's the final book. It's a little bit backwards. Let me go back here and move that around. I think it would probably be facing that way. So go back to Maya. Oh, it didn't update, but I know how to update it. Open this back up. Go back to here. Click on your color on your file. Hit reload. Close it. There we go. There's the final book, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoy these videos, you want to see more, just click the subscribe button at the end. And thanks for watching. Have a great day. And let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like to see and what you thought of the tutorial. Thanks, and have a great day.